Hey guys, how's everything going? This is Jaser. Today it's another episode on React Internal Deep Dive. Let's take a look at the API called forwardRef. I believe you and me are using these API somewhere in your code base. All right, it's pretty common. It's very useful if the HTML component is somehow wrapped in another function component. Yeah, here's a demo explaining why it's necessary. Suppose we have a component like function component like this, and actually from this demo we can clearly see that we cannot actually access the ref from the props. Well, ref, key, both the ref and key are some special props that are not exposed to us. So for a JSX elements like this, it's compiled to something like this. All the props on this component are put in the props except the ref and key. So when we are writing our own component, we cannot access the ref and key from these props. So forwardRef helps with this situation. We will see how it works inside. So first of all, forwardRef returns a new element other than the default React element. It's pretty similar to what we covered in previous episode on the lazy. It also returns a special element called React lazy type. Anyway, here it's React forward ref type. It's a special element, and it's this element type has this render, which is our function here. And yeah, as mentioned before, there are quite a lot of React element types. Most of the time for components like function component or class component, it's categorized as React element type. Like other things like portal, fragment, there's some special component, so they have their own React element type. And this is the types in the React element realm. Internally, as we mentioned before, there's a fiber tree representing the app's structure. That fiber nodes, each node has their own types, and that's some types slightly different from the types in the elements world. For example, the React element types, inside of it, they have this type of called function component and class component. So you can see that it's not one-to-one mapping, and but it's one-to-one mapping for this forward element, forward ref type to the forward ref. For fiber, they are using the property name called tag, so it's like fiber tags. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, when we are creating a fiber from the elements, so when we're creating something here, mapped to something here, we can clearly see that here. Yeah, this is a create fiber from types and props. Here, the type is actually the element, anything. If function is fiber tag is class component, well, it checks the constructor. If the string, it's use the host component. Host means the DOM environment. And we can find the React forward ref type. It is element type, and it's mapped to the fiber tag called forward ref. Cool. So after this, we know that what we return from this forward ref actually creates something called forward ref internally in the fiber tree. Okay, so the next step is for us to figure out how this fiber node of tag forward ref get processed. Well, everything about the reconciliation, we can find it in the begin work. For this part, you can refer to where is it? I think I've covered it somewhere. I think it's like okay, wait a minute, maybe initial mount. Yeah, is there something? Okay, update host to root, prepare stat. Oh, not here, sorry, reconcile children. Actually it's here, begin work. Do we have this begin work somewhere? Okay. Oh yeah, here. I think this post about the instrument explains pretty well about how React render things. By render, I mean creating the fiber tree and update the fiber tree. Each piece of node, each piece of work on the specific node is processed by the performing unit of work, and inside of this begin work, it handles the different type of nodes and do the corresponding work. And also the traversal, the fiber tree traversal is a different topic. It has two steps. One is step in and one is step out. So you can see here's in, out, in, out, in, here is out. So I'll save some time here. Just go there and figure it out. Anyway, for the fiber node of forwardRef, we can see the update forwardRef is used in the beginning work here, and inside of it, the comments actually tells everything. It's a fork of update function component, because for the update forwardRef, the argument is a function component, right? Cool. And the logic here is basically similar to the function component, except that for the render with hooks, this is where the function component gets run. And by the way, when this function is called, everything about the fiber might be created if there's none, or reused if there's a redundant node that we can use from the previous version, the previous version, and everything like unnecessary will be cleared from the resetted, I would say, and will be reused. So this function, around the function we pass to this API, and notice that this render, the render we get is from the component render. This is the component where we actually write, and there's another argument called ref. Here you can see the ref is get from the ref, and the ref is from the work in progress node. This argument or the parameter actually doesn't exist in the update function component. You can see here, this is a normal function component without the forwardRef, and it doesn't use the ref, but it uses context. And this context actually is the legacy content, which is already deprecated. So actually we can just ignore it, pretend that this null here. So looking at the difference, we could, because as mentioned here, these two logic are basically similar, we can skip it. And let's dive into the render with hooks. You can see that this argument is called second arg, and this component is what we write, right? For the forwardRef component is the third argument, this component, obviously, and here is the component as well, which is a render. It's the component itself. And here actually in the render, we will pass the second arg to the component, and we then will get the children and continue our reconciliation. So it's pretty simple actually. So let's summarize it. So when the function component is rendered, it actually gets a second argument. But if it is normal function component, unless it's legacy code, it's actually null. But if it's a forwardRef, this argument will be passed with the ref object. Cool, that's all for forwardRef. It's pretty simple, right? Hope it helps. See you next time. Bye.